Hi, thank you so much for tuning in to P2P Relates, where we talk about all things relationships. I'm Pat Renfro, and today I'm going to continue our series on avoiding loneliness. The holiday season is no joke, and we deal with so much angst and so much challenge around being centered and being focused and healthy minded. I was looking at a few articles on what causes loneliness, and there's an article written by Amy Rocock and Heather Brock. And their research looked at 5 reasons for loneliness. I thought they were a little interesting. I can't address those reasons, and I'm not trying to. I'll define shortly what it was I had in mind when I was talking about loneliness. But I want to just share the 5 things that they said. When you have personal inadequacies, the next one is development deficiencies. The third one is unfulfillment. The next one is significant separations. And the final one was social marginality. So when I talk about loneliness, I'm talking basically about unfulfillment and significant separations. And what I mean by that is when we have expectations, and we're looking forward to the future. We're working toward a goal, and we're believing when we do this thing, we're going to have a certain outcome. And then that outcome doesn't come to pass. We can get messed up. When it talks about separations, separation could be when my husband died a year ago. It could be when you relocate to another city for a job or family or whatever. You move out of your neighborhood after 20 years. When we separate out of a relationship, maybe our children grow up, but whatever the separation is, that can cause loneliness because we're used to a certain type of connection with a certain group of people. And when that changes for a myriad of life reasons, that can be lonely. But then I like what this other article talked about. Verywellmind.com talked about loneliness is a mindset. It's not where you are. It's not a condition that you've been subjected to. It's really how you address it. So today I want to talk about that a little bit more, just to articulate what I mean by loneliness, because I'm not a psychologist. I can't solve all your mental health needs, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about everyday challenges and disappointments that can cause our mood to shift, can cause our perspectives to become hopeless. Those are the things I'm talking about, that we all may suffer at times. When I lost my husband, yes, I cried. Yes, I miss him. Yes, I imagine that it didn't happen. Yes, I have dreams that we're back together and we didn't get separated. But the reality is he's gone. And I'm going to have some sad days. I'm going to have some mad days. And I'm going to have, truth be told, as a married person, I'm going to have some glad days for a moment anyway. But overall, it's just part of life. We all come into this world and then we die. We move into a neighborhood or a home and then we leave. Nothing's forever. Now, let's tie it in. I promised to you that this week we would talk about tit for tat. If you don't know what I mean or what I've been talking about all month, I encourage you to look at the other 2 videos that we've done so far. But I said to you that I wanted to encourage you to not have in this holiday season mindset of tit for tat. Now, everyone doesn't celebrate Christmas, and I've been very diligent to not just presume that and disregard that. But for those who do have a holiday that they observe where there is a giving that happens and a receiving that happens, there's what I'm talking about, that I want to encourage you. And I want to tie everything back to loneliness, because holidays are challenging. In a way, to be honest with you, even if you don't celebrate them, even if your religion or your culture is such that you just say, no, we're not doing that, you still may have some feelings. Especially if you ever did observe those days. You may have memories, traditions that your family followed, certain things that happen. It's like music. You have a song, certain things were going on with you, and when that song was playing in that part of your life, and 10 years later you could hear that song again and all of a sudden have a video shot of what was going on with you at the time that that song came out. And so that's what holidays can do sometimes. They can really kind of jar you from what's going on today, because you still have those wishes, those hopes, those dreams. There's a time, if you're a parent, where your children are home with you. Every year you're celebrating a certain way. You're celebrating birthdays, or you're celebrating holidays, or you're celebrating anniversaries, or whatever. And when those people that you celebrated those things for and with walk away, either they pass away, they move on, they move out, they whatever, they get married. It could be painful when those challenging times come up. And so my purpose for talking about this series this month is just to encourage you through the month and to ask you to really consider three things. When you are operating on a daily basis, choose, self-development tip, choose to check your motivations. Be clear. Be sure that the way you're operating is what you mean, and that you've given consideration to the fact that it may not go well for you. It may not turn out the way you want it to. And are you okay with that? Are you making a decision to do a thing based on what's solid and healthy and loving? Or are you going through the tit for tat syndrome, where it's like, I'm doing this because she did it for me, or I'm going to do this because I know they're going to do that for me. We agreed. I asked a friend recently, are we exchanging gifts this year? That's the wrong question. Is Pat wanting to give? Is Pat able to give? And if Pat gives, why is she giving? Is it to say, I love you, I appreciate you, thank you for who you showed up to be in 2021? Or am I giving because, boy, she sure or he sure better give me back? Because I'm telling you, if that's the way you feel, the latter, give it back or don't do it. Please don't do it. Even if it's someone that you feel like you should, don't do shoulds. Shoulds are so unhealthy. So that's number one. Be clear, be sure that what you're doing has the right motives. And the second thing is check yourself before you wreck yourself. Now, number one, in order for you to be sure and be clear, you have to check yourself. So there's a combination going on there. But before you wreck yourself is the piece that encourages you to really do number one, and then think about it clearly so that you don't crash. Because again, if we do things out of motivations that are really not founded, we will crash in hurt, pain, disappointment, financial. Sometimes you'll buy because that's the thing to do. And then January comes and you can't breathe. Be okay with showing up with a smile and a hug. Being okay with giving people quality time, putting your phone away. Be okay with having a place of peace. I was at church Sunday and my pastor was talking about where you are. Is there peace? Sometimes that could be the greatest gift you could give someone, because maybe when you walk around, there's a lot of turmoil going on with you. And the turmoil is because you're not really processing the way you need to in your life. You're busy looking around at what other people should be, better be doing, should have, ought to done. So be a person who strives toward peace, which takes me right into number 3. Is the world a better place because of you? Or is the world relieved when you walk away? And even if you can't really say yes to that question, is the world a better place because of me? No. Then just change. Choose to do the work, to begin to show up and be loved. Show up and be a giver. Show up and care. Show up and listen. Show up and be concerned about what other people are going through, because I promise you, you are not the only one going through anything. We're all getting through this world the best way we can, and we all have good days and not so good days. We have some horrible days and some dark days. But the key is, how are you showing up? And as often as you have control, and sometimes we don't, Be a blessing. Be a gift. I was just thinking about this too. If you go stay with someone for the holidays or during this time off or vacation time, any time of the year, show up and be someone that they're sorry to see go, not glad to see go. Be present with someone and give them the gift of time. I'm guilty. Sometimes I go home to my family and I'm looking at the phone, or I'm making a YouTube thing, or I'm writing toward my book, or I'm playing a game, but I'm not always present with the people that I said I went to see. And then the last piece about that is clean up after yourself. Pick up after yourself. Make the place a better place it was before you got there. Make them sorry to see you go, not glad. Give me a thumbs up if this was helpful to you. Hit the subscribe button, and just know that every week I do a recording, so hit the bell, and then when I do a recording, you will get the notification. I'll see you next week. Christmas is just around the corner. So is Hanukkah. So is Kwanzaa. Be present. Be a gift. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, and finally ask yourself regularly, is this world a better place because of me? All right, thanks so much.